Merry Christmas, guys. Welcome to my Christmas special on Dr. Mysterio. I want you to imagine a scenario, right? A very realistic scenario that will happen to every single one of us. You're sat down at Christmas, you've got an hour between the first movie you've watched and the second movie your family want to watch, and they say, oh, go on, you can stick on an episode of Doctor Who. You got to make it a good one. My question to you would be, what episode would it be? That's fine, guys. I've got an answer for you. We're going through and we're ranking Doctor Who Christmas specials from least to most Christmassy. I'm not specifically ranking them on how good of a story they are, but on how Christmassy they are. What do I mean by Christmassy? I can't really explain it. If you know, you know. If it's got that Christmas spirit, that togetherness, the bright aura of Christmas, you'd know. Bonus points for snow too. Anyway, let's get straight into it. Wasting no more time. Rank 14, the bottom, the worst, in my opinion, is End of Time Part 1. Now, if you didn't know that was a Christmas story, I know. Me neither. End of Time Part 1 did air on Christmas 2009. But that is the only way this is a Christmas special. It's not a Christmas special as an episode. It just happened to air on Christmas. Originally, I believe it's supposed to be Waters of Mars that's supposed to air on Christmas, but then this ended up getting the slot. There's nothing pivotal to the story that is Christmas themed. Nothing relating to the plot that's actually Christmas themed. You could confuse it for not being a Christmas special just because of the lack of the Christmas scene. The only Christmassiness, Christmas stuff in the episode is right at the beginning. There's some Christmas music, and then you get a Christmas tree out of focus just behind Wilf right in the beginning, and then he goes into a church. But yeah, no, straight out 0 out of 10 for End of Time. It is the least Christmassy Christmas special. Next, we have, in a similar vein, we have The Return of Dr. Mysterio. Again, it doesn't feel like a Christmas special, just feels like an episode that aired on Christmas. There is some alluding to Christmas in the beginning of the episode. You kind of get teased with an idea of Christmasness when Grant confuses the Doctor for Santa Claus and lets him inside. But other than that, nothing Christmassy happens. But it does snow at one point, so it does get it gets 0 points, but then it gets a bonus point, so it gets 1 point because it does snow at one point. Just the rules I have to follow. Next up, we have the previous episode to this, Husbands of River Song, straight into 12. Again, I don't want to repeat myself, but along the similar vein, it's just an episode that happens to air on Christmas. You do get the bit in the beginning where Nardo knocks on the door and the Doctor's got Christmas lanterns on, and it says no carolers will be criticised. That is the only Christmas we get from this episode, and then it is just 45 minutes of no Christmas. So it ranks very low. Only reason it goes above Return of Dr. Mysterio is it does better being a Christmas episode with what Christmassness it has. If these two episodes are side by side, they each have about 4 minutes of Christmas theming. Husbands of River Song does better than what the Return of Dr. Mysterio does with its time. You could argue that the River and the Doctor coming together after such a long time is a bit Christmassy in itself. But I mean, that's the lengths we're having to go to make the scene Christmassy. It's, you have to really look for it, and you have to take stuff out of context to even believe that it's Christmassy. It's not very Christmassy at all. Next up, we have in rank 11, Joy to the World. What can I say about Joy to the World? Oh, I don't know, because I watched it once and I can't particularly remember it. Re-skimming back through, it definitely features Christmas decorations, and it's set in Christmas for some of the episode, but it's as much an Easter special as it is a Christmas special, because at one point it features an Easter egg, the same way that it features Christmas decorations. So, but the reason it's above the three below it is because Joy quite literally becomes the star that guided the wise men towards the baby Jesus. So it does get a couple of points for that. But I don't believe it snowed, so no bonus points. Could have done better. Anyway, next up, rank 10, we have Twice Upon a Time. Again, I don't want to have to keep repeating myself. It's not very Christmassy. Blah 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 blah. I love this story. I'll defend it to the end of the earth, but it's not Christmassy at all. It does snow, so it gets a point for that. That's it. I mean, apart from the ending, where the reason that this episode had got the points that it has, hence why it's above the rest below it, is the ending when the Doctor nudges time slightly to save a random soldier by keeping him alive until the armistice in World War One on Christmas Day. I mean, obviously the armistice on Christmas Day is very Christmassy. The Doctor nudging time slightly to save someone by using that is, yes, that's very Christmassy, but it only affords itself very low ranking because that is all the Christmas in that episode, in that Christmas special. Next up, we have The Runaway Bride. I mean, this one was always going to rank pretty low. It's a fun sort of Christmas special, but having a companion who doesn't care for Christmas isn't going to do a world of good for the Christmas theming. There are some Christmas bits, like the Santa robots and the wedding reception's very Christmassy with the Attack of the Killer Baubles, and the Rachnos' ship being like the Northern Star is obviously Christmas theming, but overall as a story it does not do like Christmas justice. It's kind of, it's there. It's like it's Christmas, but it doesn't feel very Christmassy. But again, it does snow, so bonus point. Next up, in number 8, we have the other shooty story. We have Church on Ruby Road. This is kind of a more adult depiction, like young adult depiction of Christmas. You have like Christmas at a nightclub. It's sort of Christmas exploring as an older sort of person. Well, when I say older, I mean older than the child you was when you watched the Christmas Invasion. And the Doctor, saves Ruby and a random lady from a falling inflatable snowman. And the family's all together, and the house is nicely decorated. But there is a lot of Christmas, but it doesn't feel very Christmassy. I know I said the same for the last episode, but the last episode was not really trying to go for Christmassy. This episode was trying for it, but it just fell apart in regards to the Christmassyness. It just doesn't feel very Christmassy. I mean, you could argue that the Doctor saving Ruby when she was a baby, whatever. It does get a bonus point though, because again, it did snow. Shock horror. After that, we have in number 7, The Next Doctor. I'd say it has more Victorian themings than it does Christmas themings, but I think the two are very similar, Victorian and Christmassy. If you have a winter Victorian era, that's going to be very similar to Christmas. It is going to hit on them same beats. The scene at the beginning with the Christmas market is very nice, and the carol singing it's just a very realistic period depiction of Christmas, which is very nice. Has why it's earned at some points. After that, it does drop off. There's very little other Christmas themings. I mean, there's even a funeral. Who has a funeral on Christmas? You know what I mean? Sorry. But, again, it does snow. So, bonus point. Next up, we have the Doctor, the Widow, and the Wardrobe. This is the first episode in the ranking where the plot pivots on a Christmas classic sort of idea. The kids are whisked off to a winter wonderland by climbing through a Christmas present that they opened early. That's a very Christmassy idea. It shows an understanding of what a fit kid feels at Christmas. You know, the wonder of having a Christmas present open in front of you and trying your best not to open it early. I mean, try not to spoil it for yourself. It's a great combination of sci-fi and Christmas. It is just amazing, and the Doctor bringing back a family together at wartime. You know, when the mum thought that the dad was lost, but the Doctor does his best to bring him back. It's just amazing, very Christmassy. Hence why it isn't number 6. And again, it does snow, so bonus point. Now we get into the top 5. I'm going to take some more time on these. These are the kind of these are relatively good Christmas episodes, but you shouldn't watch them. If you had the choice of watching one, pick one from the top 5, not any of these. Right, I'm going to go a bit slower on these. Next up, we have Last Christmas. Every Christmas is Last Christmas. This episode is more of a comedy than anything, but I think that serves this episode so well, especially for its Christmas theming. It's a story based on questioning whether Santa really exists, and that Santa being Nick Frost is a great casting. He's Santa Claus and his elves are very funny, and they work well. They bounce off well with the Doctor, obviously being the Doctor also being a mythological creature in a way, debating whether Santa's real. It just works really well. And I mean, at one point, Santa blows a hole in the wall of the base and sends in, a budget-friendly army of toys to save the cast from the Dream Aliens. And on that point, it is a rip-off of Alien. And I mean, a rip-off of Alien in the Doctor Who episode probably would have suited a horror-style episode better. But I mean, it doesn't do badly with a Christmas theming. There's still interesting plot points, like a dream inside of a dream inside of a dream, and you know that when the characters wake up and they should be out of their dream and Santa Claus is still there, you know that it shouldn't really be true. But because it's Doctor Who, it could still be true. Yeah, it works really, really well. And the Doctor rides Santa's sleigh. These are just it's picking up little points of Christmassiness. It's just so, this episode is just so warm and bubbly. It is accustomed more to sort of, teenagers' Christmas. But if I would have sat down in front of the telly on Christmas Day as a teenager and watched this, I would have really enjoyed it. It does well to capture the Christmas spirit while not forming into sort of formulaic idea of a Christmas story. It's amazing. Very, very good. Next up, we have Time of the Doctor. Now, this one gets its ranking in number 4 for one very... Oh. 1 second, guys. Sorry, I've just realised I have just missed an episode. But let's just... See, that's how good the Snowman is. Easily forgettable. I'm actually just going to bump that up. Just go like that. Yeah. Snowman going there. It's not great. Yeah. It snows. He gets a bonus point. Whatever. You guys know the gist. Anyway, back to it. Time of the Doctor. This episode gets its ranking mainly based on the Doctor in this episode. The Doctor grows old, defending a village, called Christmas, from aliens, while still finding time to repair and fashion kids' toys. I mean, in this episode, he is Santa Claus, but he's Space Santa Claus. You know what I mean? He's Santa Claus. He brings joy to people whilst also defending their lives from aliens. It's just exceptional. He is such a granddad character in this episode. It suits the 11th Doctor so well. It suits the episode so well. It suits Christmas so well. And I mean, the introduction of the companion, the inclusion of the companion in the story, depended on, Clara wanted to use the TARDIS to cook her turkey because she didn't think it would be ready in time. So she wanted to use the time machine. I mean, that's so Christmassy. That's more of a realistic point of Christmas. As someone who cooks the Christmas dinner every year, that is so realistic. It is just exceptional. I mean, there are up and down Christmassy theme. I mean, it's very Christmassy in some points, and then others there's a severe lack. And it's snowing constantly through the episode. It's a very white Christmas. It's very nice, and the very awkward Christmas at Clara's with her family also screams Christmas to me. Apart from the part of like the Doctor flashing Clara's family. That's unfortunate. That's not very Christmassy. I prefer people actually kept their trousers on at Christmas, their clothes on at Christmas. But anyway, the episode, apart from that, is very Christmassy, very, very Christmassy, and a realistic a mixture of realistic Christmas and fantasy Christmas. It is just amazing. It's a very good representation of Christmas. Next up, in at number 3, we have The Big Hitter. Which one is it going to be? The Big Hitter, Christmas Invasion. The first Christmas episode, the original, you might say. It starts off very Christmassy. Rose and Mickey are attacked by robot Santas, and then them and Jackie are attacked by a killer Christmas tree. And it's very Christmassy on the power state. And then it does drop off again, like many other stories, in the middle. The theming still stays together, though. It is a family brought together at Christmas, which is, I think is very, very Christmassy. The reason it is this high, not only because it is a classic, it's the first Doctor Who Christmas special, is because when it contains that Christmas theming, it is so strong. It is such a realistic and in-depth visualization of what a realistic Christmas is. It is just, I couldn't do it justice if I placed it any lower. It's the Christmas Invasion. It's got to go in third. I can't say any more on it. Oh, actually, I can. It snows. So, yeah. And then onto the final two. I wonder from which one of these two is going to go in second. It is Voyage of the Damned. Yeah, in second. It's Christmas on the Space Titanic. It's so Christmassy. It's interesting to see a futuristic setting for Christmas. I don't think that's one we've seen any other time, really. Joy to the World, that's Joy to the World. It's nice to see a futuristic setting for Christmas done right, done nicely, I'll say. It's realised really well, the Space Titanic Christmas. You have the lovely decorations that are kind of like modern and futuristic, and you get like the characters having a feast around a table, you get the heavenly hosts, the angel symbolism on them. It's really strong, really Christmassy. You also get like the scene of the heavenly hosts carrying, flying up with David Tennant. Like, is he Jesus? Is that Christmassy? The birth of Christ? I don't know. You tell me, guys. But yeah, you also get some pretty funny Christmas moments, which I think like is what you really are looking for on Christmas. Just to have a healthy laugh after your big meal. With Mr. Copper, we're laughing at him, but it's still really funny where he's just like, any day they'll start boxing. I actually chuckled at that when I was rewatching it the other day. Very funny, very Christmassy. Again, it does do what every other Russell T Davies Christmas story does, and it falls off in the middle. You get a very Christmassy opening, a very Christmassy ending, and then in the middle, it's a Christmas drought. But the ending picks up for it so well that it's a different sort of understanding of Christmas. It's the understanding that sometimes you do have to say goodbye to people. You know what I mean? So I was speaking to my friends about this, and they said that Voyage of the Damned can't possibly be that high because of all the death. But I think the death does it so well to because when you're a kid and you're growing up, Christmas is a special mythological thing. And then as you get older, it's still a special time of the year, but you have to realise that sometimes, you can't spend Christmas with the people that you wanted to be with all the time, because they're not there anymore for the reasons that, for whatever reason it might be. I think it does that side of Christmas representation such a good job. And yeah, as I said, the end, just very beautiful, very Christmassy. Even the part at the end with Mr. Copper and 10 on Earth is still very Christmassy to me. And again, it snows. So, bonus point. And then, of course, if you're paying attention, you know what that leaves? That leaves A Christmas Carol. Of course it does. Of course that goes number one. I mean, this episode is Christmas throughout. This is the Christmas special. It is the perfect combination of Christmas and Doctor Who sci-fi. It's hard to describe the lengths that this episode goes to ingrain Christmas into this story. I mean, obviously, it's an adaptation of the best classic Christmas story, A Christmas Carol by Charles Dickens. It's one of the greatest adaptations of that. I mean, you know the story. An unredeemable man is redeemed. But then what if we took that further and it's part of the Doctor's plan to save his companions, and then them companions and I think 4,001 other people are saved by the redeemed man's love, singing a Christmas carol, piloting this ship towards the safe landing. It is just really beautiful. I can't do it justice just sat here now. I'm sure there are many other videos that can do this episode justice. I'm just telling you that this is the Christmas episode. It is the most Christmassy. It is more Christmassy. I will say with heart that it is more Christmassy than every single one of these stories below it. If you want Christmas, if you only had a chance to watch one episode on Christmas of Doctor Who, it should be A Christmas Carol. It is Christmas and it is special. I can tell you that. Can you imagine having to sat down with your family on Christmas Day and watching this? It's insane. It's a 10 out of 10. And it snows, so it gets a bonus point. So actually, it's an 11 out of 11. And I don't even think that does it justice on how good the story is. It is amazing. It is both an exploration of the adult Christmas and the child Christmas. It's just filled with wonder. It's filled with impact. It's filled with beauty. It's filled with just the Christmas warmth. And I think that might come from what this story is based on. Obviously, A Christmas Carol is just such a good Christmas story. And surprisingly, it suits Doctor Who so well, because of course it does. Because you've got the ghosts of Christmas past, present, and future. What if the Doctor and his companions can be all of them? Of course it suits. Of course it suits Doctor Who. It's just so beautiful. It's just phenomenal. I could sit here for hours. But I won't, because I know that my videos have been quite long recently. So, all I can do is thank you for joining me today. Merry Christmas, one and all. Happy New Year. Wishing you guys the best. Thank you for watching. Bye-bye.